When did you last experience a moment when your ego took charge without your knowledge? Watching this video can help you better understand the subtle ways the ego influences your behavior, particularly in angry moments. If we can learn to harness the power of the present moment, we can learn to spot these times more quickly and react more thoughtfully. Join us as we explore simple ways to bring more present into our daily lives, which can help us control our reactions and feel more connected to the environment. I have a really aggressive ego. The ego gets in the way, and then I don't know what's going on. How can I put my pride in check faster? You are likely not alone in having it. In fact, it is quite common. It seems to you that the more presence there is, in everyday life, when you aren't facing any kind of challenge from another person, it is essential to bring presence into your life. Most circumstances involve individuals. Therefore, it's safe to assume that most of the anger is directed towards them. The best way to fully immerse yourself in nature is to simply observe without judgment. While in that state, you start to radiate an overwhelming sense of presence and attention. This doesn't guarantee that you'll be able to recognize aggressive ego behavior the next time it arises. It appears so suddenly that you miss it completely. However, as its presence deepens and becomes more noticeable, the typical outcome is that the duration between episodes of rage becomes shorter and shorter until you reach a point where you become acutely aware of its recurrence within seconds. What was that? Might have taken you a few minutes, an hour, or perhaps the following day in the past. Probably involving the pain body, we had a major drama with someone. The anger vibration is likely to be the most prominent on your pain body. Like any notion you fully identify with, any pain body that isn't acknowledged as such becomes a part of your ego. An identical thing happens when you internalize an emotion to the point where it becomes an integral part of your ego. Once you identify the pain body for what it is, an energy field within you, it will continue to function. To be clear, it's not your ego anymore. Your ego can only run amok while you're asleep. That being said, I'm able to observe my ego now is no longer accurate, even though I do hear it occasionally. Ego ceases to exist the instant self-awareness sets in. Even though it's still a pattern of behavior or thoughts and feelings, you're still fully present. You are no longer it once you become aware of the pattern acting within you. Your consciousness is the area around it, and it acts in you. You can feel its presence. Yes, it was ego before, but once you see through it, it loses its egotism. Complete identification with one's own identity. Ego denotes unconsciousness. Therefore, whatever it is that you perceive within yourself is no longer ego. When your presence deepens, you'll eventually reach a point where you'll think, "Oh, there it is again," the second this physical or mental pain episode has passed. It will happen to you, I assure you, if it hasn't already. There will be a point when you're yelling at someone because it has already taken over you. You come to terms with the fact that it has consumed you while it is happening. Even if you can't or don't want to stop it, at least you're aware that it's happening. Once it happens frequently enough, you can notice that awareness arrives at the exact moment it wants to, right when the anger pattern tries to manifest. You are already fully cognizant as well. Whether you can halt it right now is something we don't know. Attempting to stifle it will never work. Just by bringing attention to the issue, you can put an end to it. Having a choice becomes possible when presence is strong enough to allow that. In this circumstance, do I want to continue engaging in the same manner via my pain body? Do you think this delay is the most effective course of action? That question is implicit at that level of consciousness, even if you don't consciously ask it. Something is up to you. The old habitual pattern can no longer control you. It starts to fade after that. It is my prediction that this will transpire, with an escalation of presence at the beginning, middle, and later stages. But in order for presence to be there for you when times get tough, you have to train it to be there in the everyday. It won't work to depend on difficult circumstances on your own. Let it into your life when it's simple, when you're in settings that encourage presence. like being outside, taking a stroll in the park, or gazing at the sky. If you're unable to spend time in nature, try staring at a flower for 30 seconds or a minute. While doing so, focus on more than just the object of your gaze. A flower is just an example. Anything natural could do. It makes no difference if you don't name the flower. That is superfluous to this. You gaze upon the blossom. Nothing is limited to what your eyes can perceive. In fact, there is much more to a flower than meets the eye. Even if it's difficult to discuss, there is a real presence. Hey, do you recall the quotation from Saint-Exupéry that I think you mentioned before? It goes something like this: "All that is essential is invisible to the eye. To the naked sight, all that is fundamental is invisible." Thus, despite the flower's aesthetic appeal, an unseen presence resides within it. The blossom exudes an air of mystery. The fact that flowers are considered holy symbols in many faiths is not coincidental. Some flowers have special symbolic meaning in various religions and cultures. Buddhism is only one of them. Many of the sacred mandala artworks use floral patterns as their central motif. Mandalas in nature are flowers. That is the flower's essential quality. While outward appearances are important, the true essence of beauty lies within. When you view a flower through the filter of your ideas, you won't be able to detect that. You need to take your eyes off the screen of your thoughts, the screen of conceptualization, and focus on the flower for a while. At that point, you start to feel something. How about that? Where do you feel it? You feel it within. See the flower and think about what it makes you feel. You and the flower both contain it. This lovely physical manifestation is based on an animating mind, and that is its essence. We might say that there is an animating soul beyond the form. You already possess that vital life force, which is consciousness. When you tap into it within, you can feel it. However, it is possible to increase your personal access to something by focusing intently on it. For instance, a flower. Because of its extreme quiet, a flower can teach you the value of being calm. Because quiet is simply one indicator we use to describe it, it can teach you more than that. Consequently, you feel the sacred essence of the flower and, by extension, of yourself. You get the impression that the flower's essence and your own essence are inseparable. All the ancient mystics have spoken about this recognition of oneness. To love is to do that. In the other, you see a reflection of who you are. Even if it's lovely when you see yourself in another person, it doesn't necessarily have to be a human. You see aspects of yourself in the natural world as well. Being present is a key benefit of this. Let yourself be taught tranquility by nature. You see, nature exemplifies a whole other plane of awareness than your own. You don't have to believe my magical assertion. All you have to do is pay attention to the flower and it will blossom. By tending to the flower, you bestow upon it something of immense value. As lovely as it is, the blossom has no idea how lovely it is. Because the physical separation we experience is illusionary, the flower is able to experience a flash of self-awareness when your awareness merges with its own through you. The blossom knows its own identity. The beauty of nature is only waiting for you to see it. As our species grows more self-aware, nature plays an increasingly important role on Earth as part of the expanding cosmos. Thus, when a person develops an awareness of the natural world, via the human, develops an awareness of itself. I am astounded with the procedure. If you want to know if this is true, you need just start paying closer attention to nature and appreciating what you find. Get in touch with nature as often as you can, away from the filter of information. If a youngster were to ask you the name of a flower, you would gladly tell them the name as long as you needed it. In any case, I hope you won't pronounce it, "This is a rose." Just tell the kid, "It's called a rose." "This is a rose" would be like telling a toddler, "This concept is what it is." So there's a huge difference. Just a name, I think. You can call it rose. So that a young child doesn't confuse the name of a flower with the actual thing, it's important to always go back to the actual experience of a word once you teach it. This will help them avoid becoming lost in concepts at an early age. When you get the name of the flower wrong, you miss all the subtleties it has to offer. That is why, in order to see it for what it really is, you must first eliminate the mental name. Being fully present is the only way to achieve that. A heightened state of awareness allows you to connect with the flower on a deeper level, away from the conceptual barrier. Thus, this is related to the concept of presence, which is discussed in the answer regarding the emergence and containment of rage. Developing the skill of presence in your daily life is crucial for being able to detect and respond mindfully to emotions like anger or the pain, body, when they emerge. True presence develops with practice, and every moment presents a chance to bring more tranquility into your life. Keep this in mind as we press forward on this path of awareness. Every little action you take, like acknowledging your tendencies or seeking tranquility in nature, puts you one step closer to being authentic. To continue learning about how to live a more mindful and complete life, click the like button. Stay connected with us by subscribing to our channel for more insights on mind mastery and embracing the power of now. Thank you for watching, and may you walk through life with more clarity and peace.